Minister Champagne sent a letter to the committee on October 3rd indicating that the government is looking at an amendment to the preamble of the bill and an amendment to Section 12 with respect to consumer protection to strengthen the protection of personal information of children. In the brief that you submitted to the committee, you have said that the proposed amendments are not adequate to adequately protect the privacy of children. You stated in today's testimony that we must amend the bill to consider the best interests of the child. What other measures should we take to improve this bill in order to protect our children? First of all, the amendment proposed for Section 12 talks about the sensitivity of personal information with respect to the use, collection, and communication. There are other steps pertaining to privacy that has to be considered, particularly with respect to children. The collection, retention, and disposal of information. The best interest of the child is much more comprehensive and enables us to look at various aspects of sensitivity. What is best? How do we respect all of the rights of the children? And what are the child's best interests when it comes to development? Other modifications that would integrate the best interests of the child, well, that would be Section 4A. In the French version. In English, it is clear that the child has a right to have his own ECOS, but in French, it's less clear. The child can go do this more indirectly. Thank you. The other day, I read something about VTech and the games manufactured for children. Is that something that we could do as an amendment to deal with children and internet-based games? Can we do anything? First of all, the amendment that looks at the best interests of the child will force us to think about all stages of this game. When I design the game, when I market it, and any other decisions with respect to the personal information of the child. The other way to protect children in situations, well, we have intelligent games. We have to have this concept of privacy by design, and this has to start right at the design level. We have to bear in mind the risks to privacy as soon as a new service or a new type of merchandise is being offered. We have to think about this right throughout the process. In your brief, you affirmed that the measures proposed in the bill will enable consumers to ask that their information be withdrawn, but you feel that this proposal is inadequate. You talk about the lack of a right to forget, such as the one that exists in Quebec. What are the shortcomings of Section 55? Two things with respect to Section 55. Thank you for asking your question in French. That was impressive. As far as Section 55 is concerned, the right to withdrawal or suppression, but with an asterisk. If the business has a policy that it can keep this personal information, well, it can keep it. So it leaves a big escape door open for businesses. So we have to really, it's important that in Quebec, we have the Desjardins affair that was a breach of security, and it went really high up the chain. We need to be able to suppress this information or this data. That's the first thing, the right to suppress or withdraw. but it's not a right to forget. Now, in the digital world, there are all kinds of information that can be put out there publicly, put into public service, and it's there forever. Internet never forgets. And even if this information was legally published, it can cause harm to consumers who are not able to ask that the data be withdrawn. So information lasts for decades. Every time you go to Google and you enter your name, all that information is kept. And if a child's done something really stupid, yeah, that's another example. A child who made a mistake in its use, and someone published photos of this child, and that rest in the internet sphere, and it may hurt the person's reputation. They may be open to bullying as a result. And it could lead to identity theft. In Europe, they have a right to forget. We have it in Quebec. So it's the right to turn to Google or any other digital platform and to ask that certain information be withdrawn. Has the Quebec legislation already been used? Do you have an example of when this legislation was used? It's hot off the presses. It just came into effect a couple of months ago. So if there are any examples, please send them to us.